Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Overwatch Purdue Varsity versus UTK White. I'm Gavin, also called G Money.
Hi guys, I'm Aniket. I'm also known as Articus.
So, Articus, what are you looking forward here today for this match?
Well, right now, unfortunately, I don't know too much about UTK White, but I do want to see, in particular, Alistair. I did cast the first match of their season, and he's getting pretty creative, especially on those later maps. So I want to see what he's going to get up to this map or this match.
Yeah, I want to see what kind of comps each team chooses. With Purdue Varsity, I'd like to see some of that diving mechanics with the Tracer gameplay, and I want to see how they fare against UTK White here tonight.
That is true. I'm also interested to see what UTK White has to bring today. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't think the match has started yet. Obviously, just because I think we're waiting on a few people. But overall, it's obviously I haven't seen this team before. I haven't seen this team before. I've seen Purdue Varsity play it quite a bit, so it's always interesting to see newcomers, new faces, see how they match up with our team. So it will be interesting today.
Absolutely, and Abcasta, also known as we're gonna call him Aaron, the tank player. He's very dynamic, so he can change between a bunch of different comms. So we'll see uh, which kind of system they want to go with. It might be a poke, it might be a dive, but I think most likely we'll see dives a lot in these, especially in the first control map as well.
Certainly, and obviously, alongside Abkhazia, we got Tootle and Neeb, right? Two of them, they're
Mhm.
very good at playing off each other's DPS. I mean, Neeb obviously is a very good hit scan, but his tracer is, I mean, it's out of this world, honestly. If you've seen it play, if you've seen him play it, it's like teams will ban his tracer. That's how good it is. Specifically, go out of the way to ban his
Oh yeah,
tracer. So I want to see what sort of show he puts on today.
for sure. We're gonna see some good gameplay from both these teams here tonight. Uh, Definitely some high level gameplay. I'm interested to see how UTK, if they've done some of their homework and seen kind of the comps and the sort of styles that Purdue Varsity will run here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think both their games have been streamed, so there definitely are VODs of it that they could definitely peek on. So
Absolutely.
I'm interested to see what the bans are coming into this match because during the first game, I remember the teams they didn't ban Neeb's Tracer until the very last match, and that kind of cost them because going on to Gibraltar, Aaron popped off on the Diva, right? Despite the fact Alistair was getting a bit creative, you know what I mean? But like honestly, I think
Mhm.
it's more just a testament to how dominant they were on that third map point and how dominant they were in general. Because even though you banned the Tracer, they were playing a lot of Widow, and Astro even hopped on the Life Weaver, like which is one of his like specials that he brings out once in a while. So when I look at this, I think they have a lot going for them. It's just wondering how much are these bans going to possibly affect them going into the first match? Because obviously it's third game into the season, I believe. So some of these teams have done their homework for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Seeing a Life Weaver come out would definitely be interesting. I'd like to see how many saves there are with the life grip and the pedal as well. It'd be definitely fun to see.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, I think most of the time, from what I've seen, when they're mainly playing their primary comps, they're running a lot of Lucio, Kiriko, Reaper, or Genji switches in between the Tracer and then the Hazard. Actually, Aaron plays a lot of Hazard,
Oh,
so I
really?
think that will probably be their primary comp coming out of Lijiang, if that's our map, I believe. Which I think that's what they ran last time. So
Mhm, mhm.
yeah, that will be nice to see.
Yeah, again, I'm not too familiar with this UTK team, but I'd like to see a lot of the sort of the mirror matchup as well. If we see a lot of the same, like the tracers and the hazard and the life weavers come out, I want to see kind of head to head who's going to be come out on top in these 1v1 scenarios.
Yeah, I'm also curious what see what sort of interesting picks that come out because obviously, like you said, the Life Weaver is an interesting pick that's going to come out once in a while, and but sometimes like teams will have their own like one tricks
Now
or
arriving at
people who play
Lijiang
their unique
Town.
characters. And actually, we're going to the match right now,
Initiating match.
and I believe it is Control Center on Lijiang.
Yeah, and this map has a very interesting point here in the center where you got the high ground where people can come off the top rope, and this outside area as well on the flank where we might see tracers, especially around this mega, and just kind of hitting these off angles to try to get a few picks on the squishies and supports in the back line.
Yeah. I am very curious to see if they might pull out a rush. Oh, from the looks of it, we're playing a Malga rush and a Queen rush. See, this was one of the things I was going to be interested in seeing because obviously we saw a lot of dive-oriented metas, dive-oriented comps earlier in the season, and unfortunately for Purdue, they didn't actually get a chance to play Control Center in their first match. So it is going to be interesting to see how they play with the rush here because I believe they have Neeb on the Tracer, but they have two on the Sim, and usually the Sim player is the Tracer player who swaps over. So
Yep.
it's interesting to see if this is a permanent pick or not. Oh, it does.
They seem to just be coming out. The fight begins here in the center. Abcaster getting a few shots off, getting the knife onto the Reaper. Malga coming in strong. Lucio booping the Abcaster back. Aaron getting in here with the Carnage, getting a pick. The Tracers fighting in the center here. Abcaster looking to get another pick, trying to cut another one. The Wuyang finds two. And it looks like the first point is initially going to go to Purdue Varsity here tonight. Percentage starting to tick up now. We'll see how UTK here is able to respond. Zooming out, they're holding up this doorway here. UTK is going to try to go off the off angle to try to get around them. Malga right here in the center. Abcaster getting it, swinging with the Carnage, but falls to the Malga and the Tracer combo. Lizard Jesus now taking out Tuttle, but getting taken out by the Wuyang. The Tracer is fighting the Kiriko here over in the right side of the area. And as the fight starts to die down, what do you notice here from the analysis side of things?
Yeah, I think that first fight definitely was strong from Purdue. Adcaster definitely went in, got a few picks, and then got a good follow from Alistair, and we saw Astro clean up the fight out there. Now it's a bit more of a close range fight where the Queen doesn't have as much space to operate, so the Maga definitely took over. But ultimately, Purdue didn't end up cleaning up. They didn't lose any progress because the fight was all the way in the right. So I think ultimately now, Purdue has a lead. They have a good amount of ults coming in, though. They got to be a bit careful because the Carry and Lucio beat are both there, so they can stop any Queen ult that's coming in, but as well as aggress. Because ultimately, if Alistair has a beat, right? The question is he going to have this beat when it comes out for the cage fight?
Yep, and speaking of those ults, the Katuni Rush comes out, as well as the Wuyang ult. The Queen ult comes out as well, taking down some of the health of the Malga, but it's... Oh, Abcaster's right in the line of 0 health, and he falls. The Tracer on UTK, or on finding 2. Alistair trying to escape here, trying not to stagger himself, finds a Mega.
That was a very tough fight for Purdue. I think they over-aggressed quite a little bit because they pushed into the enemy spawn where they ultimately do have the advantage there. And ultimately, even though they had the ult advantage in the current moment, it just didn't work out because, you're pushing into the enemy spawn, they can always back up. And they played it pretty well, UTK.
Absolutely. The Malga cage comes out, Chopper falls on UTK, the Reaper ult finds one. The beat comes out to save him. But it seems to be an uneven fight as Purdue is able to get a few more picks, finds Legion. And it seems like Purdue's going to flip this point, ticking up around 92% now. UTK, are they going to be able to touch? Hopefully put this into overtime. The Malga trying to mess with Alistair here on the flank side. The Lucio is able to touch, but he falls immediately. They are able to put this into overtime. But as the ults come out with the Sim wall, and Lizard Jesus falls, it's going to be hard for UTK to come out of there. And it looks like Purdue Varsity is going to take this first point here today on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, that was a very tough match to close out the game with UTK over there. I mean, if you were paying attention, you saw that ultimately Purdue got a few picks in, and they caged and Reaper ulted very late. And they had to do it because it was like, it's end fight territory. But ultimately, UTK played way too passive in that moment. They should have went and played aggressive because, Purdue, despite the fact they might have not had ults in that moment, ults are your only win con because if you saw in the previous two fights, Purdue kind of had the advantage over them and dominated them when they didn't have the ults. And the fights they did win, they had to trade ults and they had positional advantage. So when you're going into this fight, you need to use your ults fast and try to get a pick early. You can't let the mid fight occur, lose players to that, and then ultimately lose because you just weren't being aggressive enough.
Absolutely, and as they head into this next point, the Tracer is trying to find Legion here in the middle on the control point, and able to find him as well as Sir Waffle falling to Aaron here, the tank. Junker Queen looking to find another one, trying to roam around the point. The ball pick from Lizard Jesus is interesting to see. He does fall to Neeb here from Purdue. And as the first fight concludes, it looks like Purdue comes out on top and has the control. And we're getting an emote out of Aaron here in the center of the control.
And it's a funny boop there by Alistair. Punishing adventure. Yeah, that was kind of just a tough fight. I think especially because Neve got an early pick off. And once that Sim gets the point, she starts setting up. Especially with that ball, it's going to become a lot more annoying to deal with these turrets. So this is going to be a very tough fight for UTK coming in because the Purdue already has defensive advantage with this Symmetra, and Toodle is playing very well on it too.
And Astro here finding two on the Wuyang. And Chopper falling here for UTK again to Astro. It seems like UTK is just getting staggered, and it's going to be hard for them to even contest here. They're going to need to regroup and sort of figure out how they want to push in here. They need to work more together as a unit instead of more scattered 1v1s here if they want a chance to cap a point against Purdue Varsity.
I think what's also interesting here that I didn't even realize and pick up on first is that Alistair's actually playing the Lucio here, whereas Astro is playing the Wuyang. Because I know during the first week, Wuyang was still banned at the time. But now that we've seen that he's revealed, obviously Purdue's playing him a lot. He's a very strong character. But to see Alistair pick up the Lucio is something I was not expecting.
I should have ducked.
Venture getting a little too aggressive there. Aaron able to find him and take him off with the knife. Neve trying to get around, trying to survive, find a few health packs. This fight on the bridge with Lizard Jesus is very interesting to see. Wuyang ult coming out. Venture able to use her burrow to escape the Symmetra here. Legion trying to fight Neeb over here on this off angle, but it falls to Alistair. Here into overtime, it's still 0-99. If UTK wants to make this up, they're gonna need to. It's kind of hard in that position to do anything besides. I don't know. Purdue Varsity was just able to complete control that center point.
Yeah, that was a complete pounding on this from Purdue's side over here, and I think it kind of just goes to show how much more better individually Purdue Varsity's players are than say UTK's, because ultimately UTK played a very split up comp with the ball over there, and Purdue kind of just went on the attack, which is kind of crazy because if you saw a lot of the times the Tracer, the Wuyang, the Lucio were actually the ones aggressing more out there now, and they aren't just following the lead of Abcast, who's obviously their tank. They're going in as aggressors, and ultimately that constant pressure prevented UTK from actually forming like a solid team push because they were stuck in spawn so much of the time, and their players kept on overextending and getting picked off. Because the moment they lost that second fight, there wasn't a single time they could conjure up enough players to like counterattack what Purdue was doing. It was just, I don't know. It's like nature, man. You're just seeing predators hunting their prey, and UTK was just unfortunately prey, and they couldn't do anything about it.
Absolutely. As Purdue Varsity, they were able to get a few picks either on the Venture or the Lucio or someone early on in the fight. It really left UTK in an awkward position to be able to go as a team and try to push the point. They were stuck on the defensive most of that time. And unfortunately, Purdue Varsity was just able to have that tempo, and that tempo momentum was just able to snowball for Purdue Varsity here tonight, and they were able to take that first control map for Lijiang.
Yeah. And honestly, I think it kind of just goes to show how good Purdue supports are. I mean, Alistair, he's always been an aggressive player. If you watch the first match, you know his Kiriko is like basically their DPS, but he is exhibiting the same amount of aggression he has on that Kiriko on his Lucio here, and he is good at it. You know, despite the fact that we weren't expecting him to come off this, and Astro, his Wu Young is phenomenal, man. Getting multiple like double picks in several fights, and because of that, it's like in the first couple of matches, you didn't really see what he was doing too much, just because he's playing a lot more Lucio Lifeweaver characters, and he's playing a very passive Lucio, which is still pretty good, right? There's different styles of play, but you never really got to see that from him in the earlier matches. And now you give Wu Yang, you put Wu Yang in his hands, and he shows that he's just as much of a threat as Alistair on that support role. So it's a 5-pointed attack here, man. It's not just the DPS, not just the tank. It's all 5 players. That's like you got to
Absolutely.
watch out for.
And then as we go to Surabasa here for the flashpoint, I'm interested to see what kind of dynamic changes they make for their hero choices. And we do see Genjis come out with Sir Waffles and Tootle here on both sides going with the Genji, as well as Balls on both sides this time. We saw Lizard Jesus do it, pick Ball on the previous map, but now we also see Aaron on it as well. Very interesting to see. TPs come out from the Symmetras, and they both switch to uh, Tracers here. As the fight gets started, we see Need. Oh, Tootle falling to Sir Waffles from the dash, losing the Genji 1v1. The Ball trying to find Alistair here on the side. Alistair able to find a Mega. Aaron centralized here on point, swinging around, hitting a few of these squishies here, finding the Kiriko. The Kiriko TP's away. Aaron not able to let it go. Aaron wants to get that pick. The TP again from Chopper here. Chopper able to be very survivable, but falls to Neeb. That constant pressure was just too much for Chopper there. Lizard Jesus finding Neeb. Sir Waffles falling to Aaron here. And the fight seems to be going in the way of UTK. They do have control of the point and are taking up that percentage. It's Tootle and Aaron's trying to find some way to poke them out of here. But the Ball, oh, the Tracer falls for UTK. And the Ball in very low health falls as well. The 3 squishies left on the side are going to sort of back up here. And it looks like Purdue was able to flip it, but not after. UTK was able to get 52% here on the first point on Flash.
Yeah, this is kind of just a similar side to what we're seeing, especially on the third point in Lijiang. The second point in Lijiang. And UTK is just playing split up, and Purdue is just ripping them apart. I mean, like over here, we're kind of seeing like a proper pressure on Neeb. And what?
Oh, Neeb gets picked off by the Ball. Lizard Jesus here from UTK. This could be interesting to see if they take advantage of this 4v5 scenario, but Neeb will be back soon enough, so they'll have to take advantage of this quickly. Purdue is being back-capped, and it looks like UTK is going to take the point. Percentage-wise, they're pretty even. Chopper getting having to reposition after being shot at from Aaron here. The ult comes out from the Lucio ult on both sides for the more that survivability. Kitsune off from Chopper, but Chopper's very low, and falls to Aaron. Tootle also finds Legion, the Lucio. And it looks like Purdue might be able to take this point. The Ball starts to retreat. Now they do still have it, but they are going to flip from the overtime position. And stuck at 99, Purdue able to recap the point. And it looks like this first point is going to be a lot closer than you think.
Yeah, I mean, we saw over there that UTK actually grouped up properly, managed to punish Neeb and take over point while Purdue was still very split up. But unfortunately, with good target focus, Purdue managed to take out both supports early. And now we are going to the final fight.
Coming around, final fight scenario, overtime, 99 on both sides. Sir Waffles falls to Tootle. Tootle able to dash towards another squishy. Lizard Jesus falls, and Chopper, with nothing left to support, falls as well. And it looks like the point is gonna go to Purdue here on the first part of Surabasa here.
Yeah, and that was just an unfortunate last-minute scramble from UTK. They really could not do much besides just try to get touches. And Sir Waffles falling down the Toodle is just that's one domino falling. Everyone else is gonna fall after that. But we do see Aaron going in here very early.
This is kind of interesting to see from the more zoomed out perspective of the entire team fight. We do see the blade come out from Toodle, trying to find a pick. Chopper not gonna shoot into the deflect, and actually finds him. That's a great pick, and it seems to be even. But Legion falls to Neeb, and we got both balls trying to vie for point here with the minefield coming out from Lizard Jesus. But Purdue seems to have it. They are able to just have a more of a numbers advantage here and able to hold on to the point. Aaron getting a little low there, but able to survive. Neeb trying to find Legion once again. Lizard Jesus also falls to Aaron in the ball 1v1. And it looks like Neeb also wins the Tracer 1v1, and Alistair wins the Lucio 1v1 as well.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of individual play, taking out the characters in 1v1s, and that's kind of what Purdue is always excelled at, focusing with the amount of aggressiveness that all 5 players have had. And we do see here Neeb getting very aggressive, and it's kind of his patented thing where he goes in, gets a pick, and he's going to secure you that early fight advantage. And it just keeps on following on. Oh my god, big ult I hear.
Oh, humongous ult from Astro here on the Booyong, able to put it on Neeb and able to find Legion, staggering him once again. But UTK able to cap the point behind them, which is interesting. Purdue's not going to let that slide, but they were able to get 15-16% on them. Yeah, it's a very interesting match between the two. Oh, Astro not able to get away from Sir Waffles here. The Kitsune Rush is allowing UTK Tennessee able to find Toodle and Neeb. And Aaron finally does fall, so it looks like UTK is going to be able to win that team fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think UTK finally figured out that Purdue plays very aggressive. And although they might lose a person or two, they're finding it important more so that the fact is they'll leave the point open. So go take the point, go get positional advantage, and ultimately you can start winning these fights early on. And so, it sometimes just doesn't matter. I mean, you can take out Beck like that in a matter of a split second.
Exactly. That one-click tracer is just so hard to counter because it's happened so fast. So when Beck had his back turned to Neeb there, it's kind of hard to get away from there. Toodle able to find Legion, moving the fight back here to point. Chopper falls as well to Neeb. And it looks like Lizard Jesus is going to try to contest a little bit, but ultimately the point will eventually flip back to Purdue. But they were able to get to 99, which actually is quite nice for Tennessee here, because they are able to put Purdue in sort of a overtime situation, but it's going to be very close. 99 on both sides. Toodle finding Sir Waffles in that Genji 1v1. Lizard Jesus trying to hold onto point, but no, 2 melee kills coming in. And Alistair finding 3 on the Lucio. Very great gameplay from him. And the second point is going to go to Purdue Varsity here on Surabasa.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's just the one picture I think I could paint you for what's the overall match has been going like is that UTK ultimately has been getting slightly dominated by Purdue on a 1v1 basis, but Purdue has been making mistakes on a positional level, letting up point, giving up high ground, where ultimately in those scenarios when Purdue just goes for kills, because they are getting very overzealous with these kills. You saw that second point, that they just fall, right? But when they group up, they focus up, and they go for these kills, there's really not much UTK can do about them. They're really just waiting to see what mistakes Purdue can make when they push up.
Exactly, and with Lizard Jesus here trying to contest the point, it seems kind of up in the air about who's going to take this point. Support ults coming out from both sides with the Lucio ult and the Kitsune Rush on point. as well as the minefield to deny some of that area, create some space. Sir Waffles dies to the mines. Alistair finding Legion as well in the Lucio 1v1 here on the side. Playing around the Mega by the water. Alistair's able to get a boot kill on Chopper. Neeb uh, dies. I didn't quite see how he died. But it looks like Purdue overall is going to take this first initial fight and tick up that percentage already around 50.
I mean, talk about dominance here from Alistair. I mean, I haven't seen this level of Lucio play that's aggressive while still not dying too much. Well, maybe dying a little, as you saw right there.
We jinxed it a little
That's
bit.
very resembling of a certain man called Lee J. Khan. And I mean, he is getting rewarded. I mean, like, he's consistently diffing Legion a lot of these 1v1s. And he is getting so many picks, and he's positionally getting boots, which is kind of hard on Saravasa, right? Especially because you have to play around the edge, but he's just able to play that close and punish UTK.
Sometimes UTK is able to sort of, make him sit down for a second, as you saw earlier. But overall, Alistair has been able to, well, I guess he falls there. Probably a little bit of that over-aggression we see from this Purdue Varsity team. The Toodle Blade coming out, Kiriko able to get away, but not the Tracer. Venture falls as well, but Lizard Jesus able to get the repick. Aaron here finding Legion. The Pulse Bomb comes out and does some damage to Lizard Jesus here. Lizard Jesus trying to sort of just reset at this point, as it looks like Purdue is going to recap this point. UTK were able to get about 30% there, but in overtime, they're going to have to find some touches. Sir Waffles under the ground beneath the mines. But multiple falling here to the mines here on point, with Toodle just getting a dash kill on the Venture as well. Lizard Jesus just trying to hold on for a little bit, but it looks like Purdue is going to shut out UTK here on Saravasa 3-0 for Flashpoint. What a match. That was insane.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think that I'm a bit surprised that UTK was pulling up to die because ultimately, while I didn't think definitely had a level of coordination to there, it just wasn't enough to like ultimately win them a lot of their 1v1s. I mean, if you're looking to play a game here, Chopper is ultimately able to get a headshot for Neve, but how often does that happen? Because a lot of times the ball will go in, and there's not an immediate follow-up. This to the same level and extent that Purdue has been having, right? And so ultimately, you'll see a lot of the times where the what do you call it? The supports get picked off because they're not in properly. Legion is sometimes uncoordinated off to the right. Chop will get picked up because he's backing up so far that he can't stick with his team and TP out as much as well, right? Lizard Jesus is going in, but his DPS are not there with him. Sir Waffles and Beck are getting picked off somewhere on the right side or right now, sorry, the right side or left side, right? It's just you're trying to get in a coordinated push, but on your way to try and execute that, it's just Purdue is getting picked left and right. Whether it's Alistair, whether it's Neeb, whether it's Astro, whether it's Aaron, whether it's Toodle. Sorry, and it's just very hard, especially in like team oriented gameplay, to overcome such an individual difference in skill like that if you aren't like very stuck together or very in tune with each other's gameplay. And granted, it is the third game match of the season. I don't want to sit here and say that it's all lost and it's all for nothing, right? Because UTK, it's a lot of this coordination stuff. Purdue, unfortunately, has had a lot of these guys for like a while, right? It's not like these guys just came onto the team, right? I don't know how it is on the UTK side of things, but it might take a little bit of time for them to get chemistry together, right? To figure out how to coordinate these dives a lot better. Purdue just ultimately these guys have been playing with each other for a while, so it's like going into the season, they're just as locked in as you could possibly be for most teams. I mean, there's I don't know how many teams out there are as like know each other as much as these guys.
Absolutely. Purdue Varsity, you can definitely see that between each member, there is that certain level of just like trust between each member to kind of go off and win their 1v1s. And it's working out for them here tonight. Again, I don't know how familiar Tennessee is with this white team, Um, but individually, I've seen some great gameplay on UTK's side, especially from players like Chopper, being able to survive, especially on the Kiriko, TPing out of the potential picks, but Purdue Varsity as well being able to follow up and not let picks go undecided, basically. As Purdue Varsity is able to follow up and just keep pursuing, it definitely makes it hard for UTK to sort of stay on the defensive 24/7. When they are able to get back on the point, they do get some percentage, but Purdue Varsity just is more coordinated, it seems, in that sense.
Yeah. I feel like I don't want to feel like I'm picking on players here. Like I know I've been like picking on Legion a little bit just because Alex has been playing Wood, but he's honestly been doing a very good job in trying to keep alive when he can. It's just a lot of the times when it's just the nature of Lucio, especially in a ball comp, when these team fights dissolve and the other team has a good amount of target focus, you're generally the first person they go for just because you have limited movement restricted to the walls, so they know where you're going. And so it's not entirely his fault he's getting picked up early on, just because Lucio is kind of like the easy picking target of these comps. But and he's also done really well with his beats. I mean, like as much as like we've been like haven't talked much about ult play in this match, in terms of like UTK's ult usage, outside of a few beginning, they have been generally well, and Legion's beats have been on point for the most part. And like honestly, it's like I can't say that he's made like too many mistakes on the ult level, and I can't say that for most of the team. It's just that when it comes to these mid fights, it's just it's rough. You can't win them, so you got to try to win these ult fights, and they're trying, man. But Purdue ultimately has a really good ult fight game of their own, so it's just like when you're outmatched on that many levels, it's very very hard to come back, especially when you're trying to run America, like not Americomp, but like running very similar comps to them,
Mhm.
because there's not much hero changes you could do. Like going to the venture won't change too much, right? Like, and ultimately, it's just, sometimes the meta doesn't allow you to switch to another comp. You are stuck there. We've seen metas like these before where you realistically, unless it's a specific map, you're kind of stuck onto these dive comps because it rolls everything else. But you got to try something or another that isn't just minor hero swaps, right? You got to try to game plan out something in the midst of the match, something that the coach isn't necessarily going to help decide, but you as a team got to problem solve in the midst of the match because, I mean, like I
Yeah,
don't know,
yeah,
man. Like
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, as we go into Esperança here, a nice Portuguese map, for our final push. Well, I shouldn't say final. It could be. It's a match point. I want to see how these teams have will adapt after these last two games that they've played. If they'll sort of change up their composition, like you said, and see if they can sort of break that sort of meta bound gameplay. Um, here for here for Esperanza.
yeah, if you look at a bit of the chat, I think they were trying to get a bit of a Rhine mare going, where ultimately
Oh
Lizard
yeah,
Jesus says no. But
I will not Ryan.
wow, I mean they're sticking to this dive, I see, which I guess it's probably their most confident comp, and they're hoping to figure things out. But we are
Mhm.
seeing the switch over here on Purdue's side, where they are pulling out the Life Weaver and pulling out the Reinhardt,
Oh, I
and
yep, was definitely excited to see that Life Weaver gameplay.
yeah, and it's gonna be interesting to see how much more aggressive Aaron could be with this Life Weaver. I mean, obviously, you have to be a bit more careful about your heals because you're only playing on Life Weaver Lucio. But if your Life Weaver is really really good, they will be able to pull you out of danger immediately. So, oh, we
Yeah,
are
Alistair climbing up on the top of that building. Chopper falling to Aaron here. Very early in the fight. Fighting here on the left side on these bridges. Alistair falling to Lizard Jesus. Lizard Jesus has been pretty confident on that ball gameplay, denying that that Ryan mirror. Need finding Legion though. We've seen that as a pretty common theme. Need being able to find those picks is really setting that tone for these team fights. But Lizard Jesus winning the tank duel, but immediately falling to Tootle. Finding those picks like that, I don't know if that's going to be enough for UTK to manifest this sort of uh, advantage because as they find a pick, they always fall immediately right after. They need to be more coordinated just like that, with Beck finding Astro and Legion finding Neeb, sort of getting that revenge elimination here as they fight around the bot. Uh, Aaron falling back, sort of just regrouping with his team. Smart gameplay here from Purdue, not getting overly unnecessarily greedy with these with the aggressive gameplay. Rotating here onto the upper bridge. Neeb trying to get a pick and finds it on Sir Waffles. Alistair winning the Lucio 1v1 with the boop against Legion as well. The Ana corner chopper falls to Alistair. The Life Weaver able to use the pedal to escape from the ball. And looks like Purdue is going to push this and have getting some meters on Tennessee here, trying to find the ball. The Lucio, the Shrine Shatter misses the Lucio on Legion as he just jumps away. Neeb able to win the 1v1 against the Ana, but might get repicked here by Beck. They're playing Ring Around the Rosie here, finds the Mega. But Sir Waffles coming in to finish off the job, Neeb falling in that small room. Toodle staying on the Symmetra. This is a very interesting fight. I want to see, kind of curious to see you, Articus, what's your analysis sort of this push fight that we're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly some of the things have switched around this map in terms of what the teams are good at. I mean, over here we're seeing a rush, but it's not really a rush. It's more so, honestly, it's far more so of a dive hard style composition where the Ryan kind of just plays as like the shield, a little bit the big body, but obviously UTK is just kind of avoiding them, which is smart to the extent that you can get picks, which they are doing, which is you're seeing a far more of a trade-off in the fight here, but ultimately that means that Purdue plays a lot more objective-based here because you're avoiding that Reinhardt, right? Because you don't want to push him up and you don't have the things to get him, which means that you have to focus on this Life Weaver, right, and getting killed from the DPS. But Neeb, obviously, as we know, is kind of, he's dominating this match a little bit. You know, he lost the 1v2 in a bad position, but outside that, he's winning most of his fights. Like, their big thing is to try to punish Astro, right? And we see them force out Tree here, actually, as well.
Yeah, the thing with these rush comps is that speed. Speed is the #1 priority. Getting those quick picks where they don't have time to react. The eliminations in this game are very high. The survivability is definitely very low, as we get trade after trade with Astro, Chopper, Toodle, and Beck all falling. And with Tennessee, it looks like only Lizard Jesus is left as he falls back. And Purdue finds his bot once again to try to push it to the barricade and get even more distance here on Tennessee. Lizard Jesus kind of hanging around on the bridge, coming from behind, hopefully trying to find Neeb. But Neeb just able to dash right out, use his blinks. The Shatter comes out, takes Lizard Jesus for a spin and pins him on the wall. Without their tank, it'll be kind of hard to see how UTK wants to manage this 4v5 scenario. But it is a ball. Lizard Jesus will be back soon. But in that meantime, Purdue Varsity is able to get more distance on him. Alistair here up on the high ground, getting some damage here on Chopper. And with the assistance of Aaron, that Ana was just completely cornered with no utility left.
Yeah. I don't understand why UTK is not going out of their way to punish this Reinhardt, because ultimately, in the current state of the game, Reinhardt does require a lot of coordinated team play to keep alive and aggress as much, but he's not. He's kind of just playing as a brick wall, staying in his positions, and often playing separatist from his team. Alistair's often in the back line, and there's usually only Life Weaver heals. So it's not crazy to say that you can easily pressure this Reinhardt into like low situations where the team has to come back to help instead of just trying to kill you, or you kill that Reinhardt and you have free space. So, and you're just they're still trying to take 1v1s against the rest of the team, kind of ignoring this Reinhardt a bit, right? Like, they're doing, what's Alistair doing?
Alistair gets the beat off. Sir Waffles falling to Neeb and in that melee attack. And they're coming up on the final fight here, with the stim wall dissipating. Uh, we do see the ult come out from Tennessee to try to keep some of that survivability, get some over health. The shatter comes out, getting Lizard Jesus, and the health just sort of disintegrates as these sim turrets eat away at the health of Sir Waffles, falling to the Fire Strike. That Tracer stuck on that left room, and they are going to get the entire way with Purdue Varsity winning the overall match. What a game. Oh, man.
Yeah, it was very one-sided, but I do think that there are definitely shining moments for UTK. They came in, they showed that they could fight. It's just that in a long, drawn-out battle, it just didn't work. I mean, Purdue's individual skills showed out more so in the end, and ultimately they were just better on pretty much every category out there. Unfortunately for UTK, and that final match is kind of just it showed UTK honestly kind of adapting a little bit. Like not really honestly it wasn't UTK adapting, it was more so Purdue changing their comp and UTK taking a bit of a different approach. But I do feel their target priority was a bit subpar. Like they kept on going for like the regular dive targets, but they honestly should have pushed like punished the front line a bit more. Just because when you have their DPS running into the back line sometimes, and their Alistair also running into the back line, you kind of gotta go take the opportunity to go punish that Ryan and Sim. And you saw they did that with the Life Weaver, right? But ultimately it's just like granted their comp was not suited to do that as much. You know, the Ryan has a lot of HP and their DPS just did not have enough damage to do so. But those are adjustments you can make in the midst of the game because, you know, Ryan is obviously very good in a very structured center team comp, but I can't say that Purdue like had a very coordinated dive. This like their success on the Rhine was not due to extremely coordinated play. It was just due to individual dominance on other ends of the field. So I can't really say they won due to good team play. So you could really like try to punish that Ryan, who isn't that good in that individual basis. But it's like it was just things adjustments had to be made, and I think that's one of the UTK's biggest weaknesses where they didn't really make major adjustments when needed.
Mhm. Yeah, we saw the Ryan 1v1 was offered, but uh, the tank for UTK sticking with that ball gameplay. And like you said, it was really just not really much about that team fight gameplay mechanic. It was more about winning those individual 1v1s, like we saw with the kind of that mirror matchup between the Tracers and the Lucios. Um,
Hmm.
and it was definitely interesting to see. Um, and I was amazed by the mechanics, the very like minute details from Purdue Varsity here. Just the small things, being able to, as a tracer with Neeb, being able to one clip a squishy and quickly getting out of there. Those decisive moments where they were able to get picks like that pretty much just set that entire tone for the match. And when they're able to build that momentum, it's very hard for a team like Tennessee, who's kind of playing on that passive defensive sort of style, to make a push for the point or the bot or really anything at that point for the objective, as Purdue is just able to keep on the aggression, keep on the picks, keep on the staggers, and just really just hammer it down against UTK here tonight.
Yeah. And I think I have to highlight one major thing that other teams should learn from this match is that going further into the season, do not underestimate Purdue's support line. Aaron's a great tank. Like everyone's gonna know he's coming. He's got flexibility. He's got excellence on every character you can ask him to play. Neeb is a Neeb and Toodle. That's a pretty dangerous DPS line. You're gonna be scared, but man, if you see Astro on that Wu Yang and you see Alistair on that Lucio, be scared, man. Like
For
I did not
sure.
know Alistair played Lucio like that. And so seeing him play, like I said, have that Lee Jae playstyle, which is very apt for his playstyle in general. But where you're going in, you're a threat on the Lucio, where you might feed once in a while, but in the grand scheme of things, you offer way more value. You gotta be scared, man. You can't sit there and take him for granted. You can't expect him to make a mistake too much often because like he might, but it's gonna be rare, and you're not gonna be able to punish it often. And Astro, man, when he gets in that Wu Yang, do not let him get kills on you because he will slaughter your team. You know,
Absolutely. And with
I mean,
Wu
listen,
Yang
don't take
being
his
on
Life
there.
Weaver gameplay as like him just listen. His life favorite gameplay is him on his comfort pick. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But when he gets serious, he is a threat to be reckoned with.
Absolutely. And from UTK, their supports too played very well. Like we saw with Chopper in that Kiriko gameplay, um, the very good use of their abilities and their cooldowns, being able to TP away from the very aggressive Purdue Varsity, and Legion as well, being able to time his beats to sort of kind of counteract a lot of the incoming damage from Purdue Varsity. But just unfortunately, it just wasn't enough as Purdue was just able to have sort of a massive momentum and just advantage the entire time. It just seems like UTK was just sort of on that back foot and just sort of trying to create a foothold was definitely hard for them as they just kept getting picked and weren't able to move necessarily as one unit but without getting split up and diced into these individual 1v1s by Purdue and their very aggressive supports and DPS.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, honestly, that was a fun match. I mean, it might have been a 3-0, but it was a pretty entertaining one. I mean, UTK obviously they didn't win too much, but they kept the fights up, and I'd say that's a lot more than some other teams could do, especially in a 3-0 sweep. Like it looked competitive. It's just that scoreboard wise, it was not really as competitive as you might have wanted to be. Like it was a 3-0 sweep, but don't get it wrong. UTK definitely put up a fight. You know, they were losing fights, but they were definitely like showing that they could fight if they got like what they needed together. And it's like this is something that they will probably fix over the season. So it was a good match, man. I mean, I gotta say, I enjoyed watching that.
For sure, for sure. It was definitely one of the most fun matches I've ever seen. This is very high level gameplay, regardless, from both sides. UTK, still a very strong, insane team, but Purdue Varsity just able to shut them out. Very impressive gameplay from both sides. But it looks like the final score tonight is going to be 0-3, Purdue Varsity taking the win, and that's making them 3-0 in the season, I do believe.
Hmm. Well,
Overall, yeah.
I'd say honestly, it was a well worth hour spent. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure, for sure.
All right. I mean, it's getting late. I mean, it's a Friday night. I mean, I hope anyone is viewing. You know, enjoy your
Yeah,
weekend, man.
thank you all out in chat who have been able to enjoy this with us, able to watch and kind of see this gameplay as well for yourself. Thank you all so much for joining us. Once again, my name is Gavin, also G Money, uh, and this
Yeah.
is
Aniket, also known as Articus.
thank you guys so much for watching. I think we're just gonna sort of wrap up here. Um,
Yeah.
if we can get Drake back, kind of see.
Also, thank you for Drake for doing observer this match. You did a good job, man.
Yep, huge shout out to Drake. The
Yeah.
OBS would not have been possible without his expertise in that in that sense.
Yeah, I don't know if you, us two were to stream. I don't know how well that would end up working out.
For sure.
Yeah. Aside
Yeah.
from
So again, shout out to
uh,
Drake.
aside from the fact that I didn't have a picture for Winston for the band, so I just had to write and text Winston. Went pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah, worked out well,
Oh
man. It was
yeah, I
fun.
forgot Winston got banned in the I think in that Esperanza game.
Yep.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah. I think we just low key forgot about bands in general. But you know, they played the same comp for the most part, so I think it ended up being fine.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. They were able to work around the bans, like for the Winston for that sort of dive comp on each process. They didn't need it. Able to go with Aaron on the Reinhardt, just some incredible gameplay from him as well. Definitely very fun to see. Fun to see him emoting on the first point and Lijiang Tower.
Yeah. You know, some of those beats from Alistair, especially late point on Esperanza, where I don't know what he was doing. You switch on his POV, you see him beating from the skybox, and you know,
Mhm.
it's like
He definitely had some interesting gameplay and some very strong Lucio mechanics and being able to wall ride up to the top of those buildings and just sort of just shoot above the Ana that we saw towards the end there. The Ana just being sort of unaware that there's a Lucio right above him.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
Okay.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed as much as we did.